Hello makers, welcome to Always Yarn First, a podcast about knitting, crochet, and all the yarn and goodness in between. I'm Lindsey, and I'm coming to you from Little Rock, Arkansas. You can find me both on Instagram and Ravelry as Always Yarn First. Welcome, it's episode 19. Today is September 3rd, Saturday, and I have a lot. I feel like a lot to show you. I do have a few finished objects today. I have some acquisitions, some gift acquisition I got. I've touched a lot of projects. I only got one thing done, really, but I feel like I've worked on lots of different things the last couple weeks. So, before we get started, just a reminder of I have a couple of make-alongs going on. I have one I'm co-hosting with my friend Lori from Arkansas Yarn Co. We are hosting the Chevron Year Itch. It is a year-long make-along, crochet or knitting. All the requirement is that you make a chevron blanket. Any size, just chevron blanket. You can use the hashtag on Instagram, or you can post your objects on Arkansas Yarn Co. group page on Ravelry, which I will link below. Also, I am hosting a Slash My Stash make-along. This, again, is good for this calendar year, and it is just make things that have been in your stash since before this calendar year. So it has to be completely from yarn that you had in stash before January 1st of this year. Again, you can use the hashtag on Instagram, which is /MyStash2022MAL, or you can post it on my Ravelry group page if you don't use Instagram, which is Always Yarn First on Ravelry, my group page, and I have a thread for the make-along. It is a new month, so I pulled a winner, and I actually pulled my friend Jessica. She's been posting for a while. I think her name now on Instagram is Yarn1Coffee2, and I posted hers, and so I will be hand delivering that to her. I won't have to ship that out to her, so congratulations, Jessica. So, I think that's all the admin stuff. So let's get into what have I finished. So I'll start with the small one and then go to the bigger one. First of all, I technically finished this last time, but I'm going to insert a picture of my hayride triangle shawl, because if you remember, I finished the crocheting part, but I had to do the tassels, and I hate tassels, ironically, because you'll see I'm doing another shawl with tassels, which is funny. I don't mind the look of them. I hate making poms. I feel like I'm not good at them, and they don't look good. So I want to insert a picture of the finished product with the poms. I didn't do the middle one. I just did the two side ones, and it is currently at its new home at Arkansas Yarn Co. So we'll probably in the next few months be making a class there for that pattern by TL Yarn Crafts, Tony Lipsy. So. All right, I finished a dishcloth. I know it's super exciting. And I know I usually don't mix whips with this, but just because I have another one on. I had a friend come through town and spend the night with me, and she had brought her cousin with her who knew a little bit of knitting, and she was moving into a new place. And she had asked if I would help her start a dishcloth. So I helped her start. So she actually started this one, but didn't get very far. They were just here for a night. And I told her I would finish her some and send it to her in the mail. So I've started a second one. And let me see if I have the name. Classic Easy Dishcloths is the name of the pattern. I did not see this pattern on Ravelry, but I really like this one because the increases and decreases look similarly, whereas the other ones did not. You could tell one was an increase and one was a decrease. So I like this one. This is a Classic Easy Dishcloths by Carolyn Stanton, and it is a free pattern on lovecrafts.com. So that is one finished object. All right, this is the exciting one. This one, ta-da! If you follow me on Instagram, I have posted this one. This is called the Cape Creek Minimalist Pullover. It is a pattern by Marie Greene, who's also known as OliveKnits. This is in her book, and I didn't write down the book. I think it's sweaters in like 2 months or something. I don't remember. I will try to write it below, the name of the book that it is from. So if you are new to my channel, this sweater has a story, and it is affectionately called my 5-year sweater. No, it did not take me 5 years to make. This is a pretty easy pattern. Basically, the story goes that in 2018, I was knitting, but I don't think I was knitting garments yet. Maybe I knit the one where I knit a tank top flat and then just seamed up the sides, but I wasn't really a garment knitter. And a few times a year, I usually go to Houston, Texas to visit a good friend of mine, and she has a yarn store close to her that I really love, which is Park Avenue Yarns. And they do some of their own dyeing. They don't do a ton, but and I don't know if they were just getting started at that point too. So I walked in and I saw this color, this main color. So this is their yarn. It's called Olive Yarn, and this was Vista worsted weight, and the colorway is called Horizon. So I saw 2 skeins of this, and I just loved the color. Again, I talked about last time, like a dirty pink, a grayish blue. Of course, I loved it. Perfect. So I picked it up. At that point, and you know, like I said, I was pretty new to knitting, and so I wasn't thinking like, oh, this is worsted weight. How many skeins do I need to make something? I just saw the yarn, fell in love with it. They had 2 skeins. I bought 2 skeins. No clue what I was going to do with it. So fast forward a few months go by, and I, start getting interested in sweaters and stuff. And I think OliveKnits was one of the first like sweater garment designers I was really kind of following, and I liked a lot of her sweaters. And I saw this sweater, and I'm like, oh, this sweater and that yarn I just bought would be perfect. This sweater pattern comes with the very long ribbing. It actually is much further, but I usually don't ever do full sleeves because I don't like full sleeves all down to my wrist. But I was like, oh, it'd be super cool to have the ribbing in a different color. So this pattern is just one color, and it has different details down the body. I omitted those. I just knit. But I, from day one, imagined that the ribbing would be a different color, and I thought it would be so cool. It kind of reminded me in my head like a varsity kind of sweater situation. I don't know why. So anyways, of course, I had 2 skeins of worsted, which wasn't going to get me very far. Well, the good news is the next year, 2019, I was going to DFW Fiber Fest. And Park Avenue Knits was having a booth there. And it was in like September, I feel like. And so, going into colder season here. And I thought, ooh, the odds are, they'll probably have their worsted weight, at the festival, because we're getting ready to go into cold season. Now, they do have a website, and I had checked it regularly to look for this yarn to get more of it. No avail. And I even called a few times. They're like, oh, we don't do a lot of dyeing and this, that, and the other, which is fine. So I went to DFW, and literally when the doors opened, that was the first booth I went to. I had a mission. I needed to get more to make this sweater. They didn't have any. They didn't bring any worsted weight at all. So I was super bummed. So I had in mind I was going to make this sweater. So I did, that festival, I did go to Diane's booth, a Suburban Stitcher, and I told her, I showed her a picture of it, and I said, well, this is my idea of it. I want to have one color for this and a different color for the ribbing. So she helped me pick out colors, and I bought a sweater quantity of yarn from her, which was lovely. And Diane's yarn is very lovely. But I just couldn't get this out of my head. I'm definitely not a designer, but for some reason, my brain imagined this exact sweater. So I had the sweater quantity of yarn from Diane, and I just never started it. It just didn't have my heart, so I just never started it. So, you know, I would constantly go on their website. Every time I'd be in Houston, we'd go to the store, I'd look for it. Nothing. I mean, it'd pretty much be the point that I'd given up that this was ever going to happen. So last November, I went to Houston. We went to Park Avenue Yarns, and I didn't even head straight to their dyed section, because I'm like, it's been how many years now? I'm like, they're not going to have it. Like, I just assumed that color, it's done, it's gone, it's over. I'll have to make something else. But, as I looked around the store, and then I made it to their hand-dyed section, and there it was, 3 skeins of worsted weight in that color. And I could not believe it. I pretty much literally did a happy dance in the store because I was so excited. The contrasting color is Malabrigo Rios in the colorway Gris. And I think it works perfect with this color in here. I mean, I don't think it could have gone better. So I cast this sweater on in February. Loved it. But then worsted weight sweater on my legs, hot-blooded, hot Arkansas summers. So it just during the summer, it kind of just sat in timeout. Not because I didn't love it. I was totally going to finish it. It's on my Make 9 for this year. And I had it in a Knick-Knack Knits bag that was see-through so I could see it. And it was in my eyesight from right where I'm sitting up here. It was on my bookshelf here. And one day I kind of all the projects I had on the needles I kind of don't want to work on any of those. And I just looked up and I remembered the body of the sweater was done. I was in one of the sleeves. And again, I knew I wasn't making full sleeves. And I thought, I'm just going to pick that up and maybe do a little bit of work on the sleeve. And then I finished a sleeve. So now all I had left is one other sleeve and the neckline. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to finish this sweater. So I did. So I picked it up. Now, I will say, when I bought the second round of yarn for it, it was in their worsted weight. It was in the same colorway. However, the first 2 skeins I bought were more rustic feeling. The 3 skeins I bought had cashmere in it, so it was definitely way softer. But they were the same weight, and so what I did is throughout the body, I alternated skeins so that if you're feeling it, you can't tell oh, this is rustic, this is soft. I alternated it, except for the sleeves. I did not. Now you'll notice, I don't even know, there just wasn't much blue here. Even on the back side, there's just big bits of pink. I don't even care. I am thrilled with this. The body, I did not do a different color for that. Just the arms and the neckline. And it fits like a dream. And I'm so excited because something I had imagined in my head for so long actually turned out exactly the way I wanted it. I could not be happy with it. So that is my 5-year sweater, aka the Cape Creek Minimalist Pullover. So yay to that. All right, so I have a half finished object. You saw this last time. This is my sock. This pattern is Favorite Things Socks by Maddie Hobbs from We Share Needles. This sock pattern and this yarn, there we go, came in last month's Sock Yarn Society box from Arkansas Yarn Co. This is the high twist base, and it's lovely. This is a great pattern. I had talked it up last time. I literally finished the toe yesterday, so I haven't even cast on the second sock, but I will do that shortly. And the colorway name is Copacabana, but you can't get it. Only the Sock Yarn Society members got that color. All right, so let's get into whips. Actually, let's get into, yes, whips, but I have 3 new cast-ons. I know, I'm a little bit crazy. Last episode, I think I literally was talking about finishing things, which I have been. And then I cast things on. So, let's see. I think I talked about, yes, that I was going to cast this one on, and I did. This is in my Mrs. Brown's bags. And I had talked about that I was casting this on, and I have. Not much going on. I'm working back and forth right now. But this is my Cloud 9 sweater. I'm holding 2 yarns together. This is the Arkansas Yarn Fluff, which is the mohair base, and then the Yummy Sparkle, which is a fingering weight base, in the color Lindsey's Water Lilies. This is the one that, this was the first ever color that Lori from Arkansas Yarn Co. dyed for me specially and named it for me. I don't know if you can get, I always talk about Lori's Sparkle. It's lovely. So there's not much to see on this pattern, but right now I'm just doing stockinette to a certain inches. But yeah, it's going well, and I'm excited to have this one. This one is a short sleeve garment, but with the mohair, it's going to be a lot warmer. But I think it'd be really cute with jeans and boots in the fall time. So I'm working on that. And then I mentioned it on Instagram. If you are a Joji Locatelli fan, like I am, I love her sweaters. I love her aesthetic. They fit me well. They're simple. Love them. So she is currently having her fall knit along. You had to sign up in advance to be eligible to win prizes, but it goes for the next 3 months. It started September 1st. So I am barely cast onto this. This one I think I had talked about that I was going to be casting on. I tried this in linen yarn before, but now I'm doing this in a different yarn to see how it goes. So I cast on the staple linen top, and here is where I'm at. So if you're familiar with Joji sweaters, at least all of the ones I have done, I've done quite a few different ones. She likes to cast on basically here and then put those on hold, and then you cast on over here, and then you cast on some stitches in the middle, pick up this, then work flat. Then you do the same for the back. So basically, by the time you actually start knitting in the round, you are past the sleeve separation. It is some working flat back and forth, which I don't mind. Again, her fit of the sweaters I've made of hers always work really well for me. So they might be a little finicky at the first, but they always look really nice. So again, barely cast onto this. This is, again, Arkansas Yarn Co. yarn. This is her Damask alpaca base. And let me see. Let me get the tag out to see exactly what it's made of. Okay, it is 51% baby alpaca, 25% linen, and 24% tussa silk. So I thought this would still be nice. You know, it does have linen in it. So far it's been fine. So I am anxious to see how this goes, if I can do this, which is funny. I talked about frogging my last one I tried with just the linen, and I also had tried that for the fall knit along 2 years ago. So I didn't touch it last year. So now 2 years later, I'm trying this one again. So this is where we're at. And the color is Patina colorway. So, yep. So 2 more new garments on the needles. And the last one I cast on. So I am a patron of Chelsea, who is part of Legacy Fiber Arts with her and her mom Sue. And she a lot of times will make little things with their yarn to showcase different bases and stuff. And of course, you know, the slub yarn has been around for a while. And I've seen other projects knit with it, and I don't hate them, but I'm just like, I don't know if it's for me. I don't know if I want to knit with it. I don't know if I'd like the ending project. And then Jessa from Arkansas Yarn Co. made the rocket tee, but instead of just regular fingering weight, she used slub base for that, along with mohair alternating. So I really wanted to try it, but I didn't want to commit to like a garment in it. I just kind of want to see how it felt in my hands and how it looked. So Chelsea had made a pattern that just uses 1 skein of slub and 1 skein of, I think she used mohair. So the pattern is called Tassels in the Sky by Vincent Villapando. And I was at the yarn store the other day filming with Lori and was just looking at what slub she had in base. And I said, oh, I know I have a skein of her Suri at home, which I still haven't tried. And I wanted to get 1 skein of the slub base to try this pattern out, because I'm like, essentially you're knitting up 1 skein because you're holding these double. And so I'm like, I think that'd be a good way to see if I really liked it. So I picked up this yarn, which is Peach Mojito. And she calls her slub base Pearl. So it's Arkansas Yarn Co. Pearl base in Peach Mojito. And I had this in my stash already. And this is her Suri silk base. And this is in Wedding Cake. So I have never used this base with any yarn dyer. And I have never used Suri. So this is completely new to me. And here is what it looks like. It's going to be blown out because of the white, but I just started this the other day and I am like enjoying it so much. I mean, again, this pattern, I'm pretty sure this pattern is free, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look though to verify that. I have it up here. It is a free pattern on Ravelry at least. So I'm not giving anything away. But essentially, you're just doing knit front and backs on each edge, and then you're stockinetting. That's it. So it's growing pretty fast, and you basically go until you're 14 inches away from the center. And then this one, like I said, does have the tassels or the palms on each corner. So Lori, I showed her the pattern while I was there, and she's like, I love that pattern. And she's going to have a booth in a few weeks at a quilt show. And she said, well, I would love if you made that and I could use it for the quilt show. So she gave me the Peach Mojito to try to see if I like. And so it will be essentially a store sample. And I'm loving it. I'm loving the Suri. I'm loving the slub. And my daughter loves it so much that she keeps looking at this and saying she needs a sweater and slub. She loves it so much. So it is. So it kind of looks like a little kerchief, but it's so cute and it's so much fun. And it is great travel knitting or whatever, because you can just get it out fast. This is in my Knit for Brains bag, Laura, Care Bears course, because I love the Care Bears and any 80s nostalgia. All right, so that is just my new cast-ons. I have worked on quite a bit of other things. I haven't cast on my second sock. We talked about my dishcloth. Okay, so let's talk about my husband's sweater. This is the single malt. This is in a bag by the Bay Bag Co. Unfortunately, I haven't been working on this every day. You'll see where I was because you saw finished sweater and multiple sweater casts on. I am going to get back to it. I'm nearly at the sleeve separation, and then I need my husband to try it on to see if we are on the right track. And he was crazy busy with work this week. In fact, I might just have him do that now because I keep seeing that there's still more repeats, and I get it. He's a broad-shouldered guy, but I'm like, okay, maybe because I haven't knit a guy's sweater before. I'm like, why are we not at the sleeves yet? But I'm sure it'll be fine. So that's all where I am. Again, this is a pattern by Maxim Sierra, Max the Knitter. It's kind of hard to spread out because I have it clumped up on my needles, but fantastic sweater. Highly recommend it. And I am using, for that sweater, I don't think I mentioned it last time, is Knit Pick Wool of the Andes, worsted weight in the colorway Grizzly Heather. So, I haven't really worked on my lace and fade, so I'm not going to show that. Another project I just happened to pull out that I haven't worked on for a while is in Knick Knack Knits bag, another Care Bears. One that I especially requested for her to make. I love these see-through bags. Alright, this is what I'm calling my Advent Granny. So this is crochet. Let me see which end is right. I am basically making a big lap blanket. So I started with my 2021 Advent calendar in the middle, the purple, and worked out through my Advent. You can see where the kind of the fade stops. So Pineapple Knits, her Advents, as far as I've always known, have been fades, which are awesome if you're wanting to make a cohesive project. So it wasn't quite big enough for even a lap blanket at that point, so I had decided to get the monthly mini club from Pineapple Yarn. So it's the same base, and she always has bright colors. So you can see here, you get 3 a month, 3 20-gram minis a month. They're always a mystery. And so I've been using those. I have since canceled my order because I think I'm almost there. So I did work on this and finish one yarn and started another. So I essentially have 2 months worth of minis left. So I don't know what month this came in, but these ones are already caked up, and these are ready to go. And then I have one more month I received before I canceled that will need to be caked up, and these will finish my blanket. So it's going to be perfect for my lap is a little cold while I'm watching TV or sitting here at this desk, I'm sure you can see, obviously, I'm by my back door, which is sliding glass doors. And I have a vent right behind me. So I'm sure in the winter, because my desk is here, it's going to be a little cold right here in this corner. So this will be a perfect lightweight, but just something on my lap to warm me up. So I'm really happy with this. It was kind of nice to get the crocheting out. So another project where I can see the end in sight, which is exciting. I mean, I love casting on new things too, but how fun is it to finish something, especially that you've had for a while. So that is that. All right, what do we have left? Okay, this one I haven't shown in a while. This is literally, it doesn't even have a bag. I literally throw it in my purse like this, which is dangerous, I know. But so far, nothing's come undone or loose. So this is just, I'm calling them my Emerald City socks. This is, I don't even remember when I started this, but you'd think it's like, you know, if you've ever gotten a tube cranked for you to make socks, that's what this looks like, but this is me just hand knitting. So I did a cuff. I remember at the time I did a cuff and I was starting socks. But then wherever I wasn't a good place to worry about concentrating on a heel. So I'm like, nah, I'll just keep knitting in the round and then do an afterthought heel whenever. And then, you know, they just stayed in my purse and I just kept knitting in the round. So this probably will be literally a knit tube for both socks, for like one big sock, you know, one big sock tube, 2 socks. And I will just finish again with the cuff or a toe and then do afterthought everything else and just cut them. So the last time I showed them on the podcast, I was here. So I've been kind of tinkering on them here and there. So this yarn is from Hue Loco. This is her Merino 80/20 sock base, and it is called Emerald City. That's why my so original name of these socks. But yeah, you can see the golden browns and stuff. I really like the striping on them. Yeah, so I've just been kind of tinkering with these whenever. Who knows when it'll actually be a sock. All right, is that it? All I have left for whips is my chevron blanket. So, if you follow my other videos with Lori, I do an unboxing video and I show all the goodies and the new yarn. That's why I usually don't show that on here. So you need to watch that video. And then I just like to show my actual chevron blanket, which we're both making chevron blankets. I started so good to try to catch up. Last month's color was this beautiful bluish with green and white. Oh, totally my jam. I was so excited to get into it. So I started, you know, really trying to make it through the other color, and it didn't even happen. Like, so this is last month's colorway. We're in September, so this is August. This is September. I just got this. So, a little behind. I am on the border to start August colorway. I'm not going to hold it all up because it's massive. So yeah, I am done with the other colorway. So you can see where I was the last time I showed it on the podcast. I'm now in the middle of the border here. And yeah, so the blue will go next. And then eventually the green. So I'm a little bit behind. My goal has always been to try to stay up to date on that. But this blanket is big. And it is fingering held double. So it is warm. And that's a problem when it's on my lap. And then, like I said last time, then I've been spinning also. There's no spinning to show this time, but so yeah, I'm hoping if it starts cooling down at night that I will want to start making that again my evening project, which would be great. So, and that again is in a bag by Knick Knack Knits, the chevron bag. So, is that all of my whips? I think it is. Okay, so if you were just here to see my projects, we are finished. So what we have left to go over are acquisitions next, and then podcast of the week, some news, and then goals. How I did for last month. What are my goals for this month? So let's get into acquisitions. Now again, like I said, I'm not showing my Sock Yarn Society box, because that is in my separate video for that. So, first of all, we'll go into what I've purchased. So this one I bought a few weeks ago, and I haven't even like fully opened it. So this is from Coats & Co. So you kind of heard me talk about my spinning journey last time, and I am still very much learning. So, you know, with spinning, you know, you get the fiber, you spin it, then you ply it together so it's, you know, stronger. Then after that, it's like, well, how do you skein it up? How do you know how many yards you have? You need a niddy noddy. So I was looking for a good quality niddy noddy so that when I get to that point, I can measure out. Because the goal here, even though I'm enjoying the spinning right now, I want to be able to buy fiber, you know, by how much ounces or whatever it is, and then know like, hey, I want to make a shirt out of that, so I need to buy this much fiber, spin it to this, and then measure it out in a skein and make an actual knitted garment with it. I mean, that's the goal, not just spinning to spin. So I needed this, and this came with the whole kit, which came with some fiber and another drop spindle, which was cool because the one I have I've shown before, but this one I kind of wanted another spindle like this, because if you are familiar with spindles, let's see if I can get it right there. There's a little slit. There's a little slit right there. So basically, you're holding and you're spinning. So it can go through here, like it can catch through here, which is nice. Mine just has like a plastic disc around it. There's no like little slit to hold it. So I thought that would be nice. So when I saw this kit, it just made sense to be like, oh yeah, now I have a backup spindle. I can see what the difference is between my two drop spindles. So yeah. Actually, so I bought it from Coats & Co., but it looks like the Niddy Noddy itself is from Fiber Artist Supply Company, which is really cool because I have their yarn winder, and it is very high quality and really good. So this should be a really nice product to keep. All right. So then, like I said, I went to Arkansas Yarn Co. the other day and to film our unboxing video. And I have been eyeing Night Owl fibers for a long time. Like, it's one of those things that every time I go in the yarn store, I walk over and I look at, and there's like a couple colors. I love the Monopoly color. And I can't remember, there's another one that I really love. And I look at it, and then like I've talked about, I'm not really making socks. The one I've just made, the pattern one, Maddie's, it's like the first one I've made this year besides Professor Pearl's Selena socks. I love self-striping yarn because you can make vanilla socks, which means no pattern. You just heel toe cuff, you know, knit. That's it. So I just haven't made any self-striping socks in a long time. Well, as I was there, they got in a big order from Rachel of Night Owl Fibers, and they got some new colorways. She had Halloween and Christmas sock sets, and then a bunch of new colorways, including Jessa has her own colorway with her wedding colors, which is super cool that she knit socks out of. As they were unboxing it and I was watching, and my favorite colors are blue and orange. So, of course, I saw this. And I couldn't fight it anymore. So, this is her Barn Owl sock. It is 75% merino, 25% nylon, 437 yards. And this is in the colorway Sarcasm? Question mark. So, wonderful. So yeah, and then I got the slub, which Lori gave me to make a shop sample. And then of course I got my Sock Yarn Society. So now the last thing I got was a gift in the mail. So I kind of deconstructed it a little bit here. So I had mentioned some new yarny friends I had made at the Arkansas Yarn Crawl. And there's a couple in particular that I have kept close in contact with since then that, you know, definitely I would call friends. And one of them is Nikki Avery, who is Avery Lane Creations. And she has a yarn club. And I've already lost something in this kit. So she watches this podcast. Hey, Nikki. And she knows that I name my podcasts off of song titles, which I didn't even mention this time. This episode is called Feel, and I did that because of all the different textures that I've been currently working with. It's a song by Robbie Williams. But she, her club last month, one of her colorways was named from a song lyric. And she said that she thought of me because she knows I love music, thus naming my episodes after songs. So she wanted to send me a yarn club box, which is so generous. So, making sure I'm not showing anything I can't. So, this is Chasing Sunsets, August 2022. It comes with a, let's see, a yarn cozy, a sunflower stitch marker, an ice cream patch. See, I'm missing some couple things here. It has, okay, here we go. Here's the patch. I burned calories crocheting, so they don't count. I burned these calories crocheting so they don't count. To put on your project. And then a pattern for her Sunshine Ice Cream Cozy. So she has a cozy pattern that goes over like if you get a pint of ice cream. And I told her I had to make one of those because I love my little pints of ice cream. So, and then it comes with some tea and this cute little notebook she sent me of Post-its with a rainbow. And here's the color. There we go. Yeah. Now, her yarn is so soft. Her yarn, of course, was at the yarn crawl, and I didn't buy any. My favorite color is blue, and I'm pretty sure Nikki's favorite color is purple because I see lots of purples. I'm not a purple fan. However, don't be sad about it, Nikki. Jacinda, my daughter, loves this purple. And she wanted to take it. I said, but I want to use the yarn. So I'm probably going to make her socks out of it. So I get to squish on this yarn because it's lovely and make that. There was a color Nikki had in crocheted socks. Were they crocheted at the yarn crawl that I really, really wanted? But I'm pretty sure they were from a past box. So she didn't have any to sell. Otherwise, I would have bought that in a second. But this was so generous and so unexpected and so sweet. So thank you so much, Nikki. And I'm excited to use your yarn. It's lovely. Oh, and so this yarn is 85% wool, 15% nylon, and then 440 yards. And the colorway is Night Closes In. So sweet. Thank you so much. So, all right. So that is my acquisitions. Yes. All right, so next is the podcast of the week. And I just realized I didn't write down the name of these girls. So the podcast of the week is Frivolous and Frugal Knitting. I remember Dawn's name because how I found out about this podcast is someone had miraculously found my tiny podcast first, Dawn, and was commenting, and then I saw that she had a podcast. So then I went and watched her podcast. So Frivolous and Frugal Knitting are two sisters, and I believe they have there's 9 in the family total, 9 siblings. Is that right? And one of them is more frugal, and one of them is more frivolous. And I'm pretty sure Dawn is the frivolous one, so right up my alley, Dawn. So not only do they, do a general podcast style where they talk about FOs and works in progress and stuff, but as they talk about, well, I would rate this yarn as like $2 signs. So if you find that interesting, which I definitely do, I mean, sure, I'd love to use hand-dyed glamorous yarn all the time, but that's just not reality. So they talk about how much the yarn is and how much the pattern is, too, to make those projects. And they're really fun, and I enjoy watching them. So I will link them below, so you make sure to check them out. All right, news. I am going to DFW Fiber Festival, and I am so excited. So you heard me mention earlier, I was there in 2019, and then, of course, they haven't had it the last couple of years. I was expecting to go back in 2020, and then we all know what happened. So I have been wanting to go back. Now, this year will be the first year I get to go as a podcaster and as a spinner. So it's I feel like it's going to be brand new for me because I don't need yarn. Yes, I know that I'll probably come back with some. I'm not saying that. But my focus is actually going to be spinning because, like I said, I feel like I need help and I'm not finding those resources locally to me. So I know there will be, people that are selling fiber and that are, know how to spin that I can really get some knowledge from. I'm really excited about. So I will be there Friday, September 22nd, all day long. As of right now, I am going to be by myself. Womp, womp, womp. Kristen had mentioned on their podcast that she thought she was going to go. We've talked a little bit. She hasn't said no yet, but then she thought maybe a family member was coming into town that week. So I just booked the hotel. I'm like, okay, I know myself. If I sit on it, I won't do it. So I booked the hotel. So if I'm going by myself, I'm going by myself. So hopefully you will be there and we can visit and hang out because I can't believe I'm booking a trip by myself to go to this. So I'm really excited. I'll be there all day Friday. So I hope to meet you. I know for sure Emily of Delight Knits is going to be there. So I'm sure we will hook up and get together. I don't know other podcasters. I know that Nitty Natty is also going to be there Friday. I'm really excited to see, of course, Suburban Stitch is going to be there. The Modern Skein is going to be there. I'm excited for the Sexy Knitter booth. I'm excited for Mace of Skeins booth. And I mentioned on Instagram, I'm particularly stalking one booth that someone had graciously pointed me their direction when I was looking for awesome fiber for spinning, and they have the most amazing colored fiber, which is Gritty Knits, and they have yarn, they have fiber. I feel like it's going to be a very dangerous booth for me, but I just want to hang out and get all the information from them. So super excited. So that is my big news, and I hope to see you there. So I'll podcast one more time before then, and then I'll podcast the week after. So that'll be good timing. All right, last thing is goals. So how did I do last month? So my yarn in for August was 6 skeins. Not too bad. That is a total of 98 for the year. My yarn out was 11 skeins, which is a total of 105 for the year. So again, if you're new here, what I consider skeins is any full 50 gram or 100 gram, because I can make socks with a 50 gram skein, so I count it as a full skein. I don't count it as out until I have basically finished using that. Like my sweater, yes, I might have scraps left, but I've pretty much used that up. It's done. That skein is gone in my world. So, my goals for last month. I did not catch up with my chevron blanket, as you saw, and I'm going to honestly start taking that off of my monthly goals. Of course, it's a goal, but now I'm 2 months behind, so I'm not going to catch up to it. I just need to keep focusing on it, and I think once it gets cooler and I'm going to want a blanket on my lap, that's not going to be a problem. The other goals I had were to finish 3 things, which I had all finished by last podcast, which was my streamlined tank, my fairy firelight, those were the jar cozies, and the hayride triangle shawl, which I showed at the beginning, the crochet shawl that is a shop sample. So all of those were completed. So my goals for September is to finish my favorite thing socks, so I have halfway there, to finish the dishcloths for my new friend Tiffany, and to finish my tassels in the sky shawl. That was the slub and Suri shawl that I'm working on again for a shop sample for Lori. And then I wanted to make a small goal for my Hohi knit along, just so I would stick with it, which is I want to get past the sleeve separation. So basically, once I join in the round for that, you saw that I was barely started, but I want to at least get to that. The knit along is 3 months for that, so I'm not in a hurry. I did sign up as a backup for the summer. Oh my gosh, what is the name of it? Super Summer Sweater, big stripy sweater, because I have the yarn and I already have the pattern for that, and because the knit along you have to sign up in advance what you want to work on. I probably won't do that, but if I get this done and I'm motivated, I can cast on another Hohi sweater. But I just want to get past the sleeve separation for this month and not stress about it. So, all right, I think that is it for today. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for participating in the make-alongs. Please like and subscribe. Share this. Hopefully, I can meet you at the Dallas-Fort Worth Fiber Fest. Please come up to me if you watch my podcast. That would just make my day. That's it till now. I'll see you again in 2 weeks. Happy knitting, happy crocheting, happy spinning, embroidery, cross stitch, all the things. See you later.